Hare Krishna, this is Parijata reporting from Milan, Italy, Villaggio Hare Krishna at the GBC General Midterm Meetings. We are on our last day where we actually had a very enlightening discussion on preaching and outreach strategies. This presentation was led by Praghosa Prabhu, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Praghosa Prabhu is a member of the GBC. Could you a little bit share with us what was the approach of the members and the GBC in relation to preaching strategies as to what can be done and what can be undone to revitalize preaching, because especially now that we are at our 60th, the eve of the 60th anniversary of ISKCON, so looking back, what would you say that?
Thank you. Nice question. Well, we started out with understanding or refocusing on the point that preaching, outreach, is actually our raison d'etre. That is why Srila Prabhupada came to the West, to share, for him to share Krishna consciousness with us, and then for us to share it further afield. So that was the main point, that this is actually what we're all about. And we were reminded of Srila Prabhupada's first meeting with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, where Prabhupada himself mentioned about the difficulties in India at that time, and Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj's famous response was, nothing is more important than Krishna consciousness. And that answer essentially led 40 odd years later to Srila Prabhupada at the age of 70 getting on the Jaladuta and coming over to the West to start this movement. So that was the start of it, the framing of it. And then we said, so what can we do to improve our preaching, increase our preaching, and what maybe are we doing that we could take out of our preaching like that? So then we broke into groups, and the discussions were really enlivening and vibrant, and you could see that people were having a really good time sharing all the different ideas. And just to pick one thing, I think, for me, as a kind of a highlight, as a kind of a point that would help with ISKCON's outreach, and that was the idea that sannyasis should travel and preach, and not so much focus on being gurus. And gurus should be more local grihastas where they teach their disciples. So the sannyasis preach, the gurus teach. Then we came back, the group shared all their different ideas with everybody. And then we finished, because I did a little research on AI, and it was really interesting that AI said we should do more book distribution, more Harinam, more Prasadam distribution, but it also said that we should more develop community spirit and nurture our communities. And the second thing that AI said was digital outreach. We have got to make our message of Krishna consciousness, one, more relevant for the modern age, and two, disseminating it, not necessarily person to person, we can do that too, but to spread it digitally. That is the way forward for our Hare Krishna movement. Everything stays the same, of course. The essence of our message will never change, but the mechanism by how we share it and how we get it out there and how we expand our movement, those things will change. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Praghosa Prabhu, for sharing the insights and the discussions at the meeting. I also want to remind members that on this concluding day of the GBC meetings, day 5, the GBC also approved and passed a resolution in relation to forming a commemorative committee for ISKCON's 50th and the 60th, and 2027 we shall celebrate the 50th anniversary of Srila Prabhupada's Tirobhav. And this is so relevant on the eve of the 60th anniversary, where ISKCON is actually discussing, all the leaders from different parts of the world coming together to discuss how we are going to improvise on our preaching and outreach strategies. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.